Welcome to the Uncle Jimmy and Cousin Donnie show, episode number 52, Cousin Donnie. For my guy, Mr. Rob Scahill. So, how are you, Cousin Donnie?
I'm doing really well, man. It was weird not to have any games this week with the tournament coming up this weekend. Signature didn't play, so you got guys scrambling around playing in park leagues trying to get swings, which is good. But pretty good week. Things are looking all right for the weekend, so we're excited to get out there and play Midsummer Classic, which is a good one at Melrose Park. Yeah, I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well, actually. Just busy, obviously, with the bar. We're getting closer and closer, and had the kids out tonight at the driving range.
There you go. At Cog Hill?
Yeah, at Cog Hill. We had 4 games this week for Hex. We played pretty shorthanded, but at the same time, we're always shorthanded, so that's our normal thing. So
there we go. Let it out. Air it all out. This is your space. You can air it out here.
Yeah, I can actually say what I want, but all in all, it's been an incredible week, and I looking forward to this weekend. I think we're gonna have some upsets like we always do, but also later on in the show when we do go through the lines, I think we're gonna have some shocking lines for people, and I think we had a winning record. Is that right?
You did.
Okay. So hopefully, as we go through those lines tonight, we're going to have another winning record for the weekend.
Usually betting with Uncle Jimmy is a positive. You come out maybe 1 or 2 units ahead. You can put as much money as you want. You'll always be a unit up at least. So it's nice to bet with Uncle Jimmy.
Let's just stay positive.
Yeah.
Keep the positive vibes going because we all know it can go south in a hurry. So
yeah. We had the Fat Kids won at Harrison Park in the tournament, and then out in Iowa, in Carroll, Iowa, we had Chucks win the softball tournament out there, and then Hall of Fame won the drinking tournament out there. So pretty cool.
Let me ask you a question, Donnie. What is the more impressive trophy from this weekend? Is it the Fat Kids winning an A tournament? Is it the drinking trophy won by Mr. Hall of Fame, Mr. Sam Rogers himself?
Yep.
Or is it our guy Drew Ladick and the Chuck boys with Cracky and all the boys, Jake Reynolds? I got to mention Jake Reynolds because he'll body slam me if I don't.
He'll kill you.
Yeah. So
the most
what do you think is more impressive?
I will tell you, Chuck's is automatically eliminated because the guy stood us up for our show.
Well,
so
Jake
was supposed to be on our show.
On us 5 minutes.
Exactly. So Chuck's is not going to get any credit from me this week. Congrats on a tournament. We don't care anymore. We're going to go with Hall of Fame for sure in the drinking tournament. They pounded buckets of beer in Carroll, Iowa this weekend.
If I have my numbers correctly, I was told and I saw 51 buckets of beer, I think is what was sold to them.
Mm-hmm. And you have to drink the full thing.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
A lot. How do you think a guy like Mickey Balestri would do out in the drinking tournament in Carroll, Iowa?
Pretty impressive. I think Team Jagoff would give him a run for the record because I know Burke would probably drink about 14 by himself.
There's Drew Lady. Said Hall of Fame. You couldn't touch them after 7:30 Friday night. They already had a huge lead. There's 12 cans in a bucket. So thank you, Drew, for filling in. We appreciate the information audio there. That's good.
Yeah, we tell Drew we don't even know who Chucks is anymore.
Yeah, completely dead. Completely dead to the Uncle Jimmy show now. This is rotten.
This is not good. So So I want to really quick before we bring on our guest tonight, Mr. MVP himself, Noach. I want to say hi to some of the fans. I want to say hi to Adam Olson, Charles Golden, PJ Rains, Mr. Ram, Drew Ladick, as you mentioned, Mr. Mickey Balestri himself, Robert Garzano. Robbie, I don't even know who Robbie is because he never showed up to a game. So, but I'll tell you this though, Donnie, if we put co-ed
Oh
on
my
our
God.
shirts, he would be 100% attended to every game.
He wouldn't miss a single inning.
It's absolutely amazing.
He loves co-ed.
Mr. Danny Martin, welcome. Marky Robinson himself. So, really fun fact, Marky Robinson, he actually had some Miller Lights over the weekend, believe it or not.
Okay. Yes.
And he was texting me saying he has incredible ideas for 16-inch softball. Now, I don't know if we have to get him drunk to hear those ideas, but it might be a thought process later on down the road on our show where we can bring Marky on for, once again, an interview about his future ideas.
I would love to hear those. I would love to have him drink the Miller Lights before he came on the show, because then he's get a little bit more confidence in Mark Robinson.
Correct. Mr. TJ Flanagan, welcome. Can you block Robbie? Is it possible? Got Victor's welcome to the show. Chris, welcome. Mark Manizzi, welcome. So,
my God.
You know what, Donnie? I did not get a happy haircut today, but I did get a haircut in the last couple of days. So I just want to say happy haircut to myself.
Thanks. Yep. Mark Manizzi just referenced Beer Fest. I spent some time with Mark these last couple of days, and he really wants to be on the show. He does. He asked me where he was in the list of guys, and I said he's probably right in the middle. So yeah, Mark will be a guy we get on the show soon.
You know what we got to do though is right after he gets in an argument with Sal, that's when we bring him on.
Yeah.
All right.
Perfect.
So tell him to get an argument with Sal, the weasel that I always call Sal Milazzo. Bring his ass on, and then we'll talk about it. We'll have a nice story to talk about when we bring him on.
Man says, "Hi, can drink simply like anyone can." I think he's talking about those wine coolers that they like so much.
You know what? That's the best part about softball to me. I know the tournaments are fun and everything's fun and dandy playing the game itself, but like the nights like we had at Chuck's, or at Old Timers, back in 2 weekends ago in Iowa when we had 10 different teams in there and they're all getting along drinking, and that's the stuff I feel like that is awesome, right? I mean, and that's the cool part about playing this game is the amount of people you get to meet over time, and just the relationships that you build. I mean, there's a lot of interesting characters. So, and
the relationships that you can mend at a bar like that.
Yes, 100%. I agree. So, until one piece of shit ruined it, but we're not going to talk about that shit. So, Mr. Robert Jr., welcome to the show. Sean McReady, welcome. JP, welcome. Rico Rogers, welcome. So tonight, I think, is an interesting night for us because we have Noach, who's played on major teams, who is now kind of went and played with his buddies and his brother on the Fat Kids, right? And, obviously, he's still a major player. We all know that. He's a tremendous hitter. So I have a lot of cool questions for him tonight. I think it's going to be really entertaining to bring him on. I know one of our good pals, Bruce Lee, obviously is back on the streets. So heads up, everyone. But that being said, I mean, are you ready to bring on this man, Noach?
I want to say one thing before we get into talking to Noach. I ran into somebody today in the softball world who I haven't seen in a while. He got out of softball maybe 2 years ago. His name is Sean Keane. He used to pitch for Signature and won major nationals with those guys. A fantastic pitcher in person. And
yes.
I got the opportunity to see him, and I talked to him for a little bit. And he said, he still watches the show and kind of keeps up with what we're doing because he still feels that he's involved with the game because he watches our show. And he raises his kids now, and he does such a great job as a dad and owns a gym, and he's just a fantastic human being. So it was awesome to see Keener and you know, talked to him about signature and all that stuff. And it was really cool to kind of have that interaction. And he really kind of laid down and said, you know, I love your show and it keeps me involved with softball. So that was really cool. And, you know, I appreciate that guy a lot. He's great. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say before we get into my guy Noach. But
he was definitely a entertaining pitcher for sure when he played signature. So
yeah,
we used to have some battles.
that's right. Joey
Before we
DeCosta,
bring on
W.
Noach, I just want to say welcome to Brian Sloan, Chris Pohanka, Joey. Welcome to the show. Joey says, "Big W tonight, Donnie." Hashtag sauce.
Yes, we did. We did win a game over on Itasca tonight with sauce.
Beautiful, beautiful. Did you guys beat Bankroll?
We did not play Bankroll.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. We'll talk about that in a minute, but let's bring on our guy Noach. I don't want him to get too drunk in the room. So
right.
Mr. Noach, what's up, buddy?
Fellas? What's up, fellas?
So tell us a little bit about how this past weekend went with these fat kids. I know, you know, you guys had a tremendous weekend, obviously winning the tournament. I heard you hit your ass off all weekend, which is awesome. But not only tell us about the weekend, but tell everyone who you are as a person, you know, where you started softball, where you came from, what you do, and why, you know, people who maybe follow the game should come and watch a gentleman like yourself other than being a monster that you are. So.
First, my name is Anthony. I mean, most people know me as Noach. Probably,
Yeah.
most people probably didn't even know that, you know. But that's all right, you know.
That's okay.
I grew up on the north side. Uh, started playing, started playing 16-inch when I was like 12 years old. You know, started playing competitive with my brother actually. You know, back in the day with Ponch and the Lemons. Just really following my brother around to the games, and that degenerate group, you know, they were always shorthanded. So, you know, back in those days when they had the qualifiers with the gloves, you know, so I was like 16, 17, you know, and Ponch was like, hey, you want to play? Grab a glove, you know, go play first, go catch. And that's really kind of how I started, you know, back playing with Bruce Lee. You know, Nate was on the team back in the day. You know, obviously my brother, Rob Rodriguez, back in those days. And then after that, started playing with Impact with Stan Paddock in that group. You know, Jeff Baytall, your guy. I'm Donnie.
That's right.
And then I started with them like in 2008 or 9, one of those 2 years. Did like an 8-year run with them. A lot of second place wins, a lot of second place, third place, fourth place. Couldn't really get over the hump. Had a really solid group. We're just really young, you know, just a young group. Wish we could have stuck together, you know, a couple more years, but just wasn't in the cards, you know. Ended up on Flash, did a couple 4 5 years stint with them, won major nationals, won a lot of tournaments, did a lot of winning with them, learned a lot about the game. A lot of guys, great, obviously really great group over there, really experienced group, you know, so just uh you know, like I said, a lot of learning with them. uh After that, you know, ended up with the Fat Kids with my brother. A lot of guys, Bruce Lee, Rob, you know, just a lot of guys that I back started with. You know, a lot of guys I grew up with in the neighborhood. You know, just a lot of the younger guys too. You know, just kind of sharing the experiences that I came out, you know, with Impact and Flash and things like that, and just sharing it with them. You know, and just trying to grow them and you know, share, you know, that with them, and just kind of see how they could grow with it and where they could take it.
So, you know, obviously when you play softball, major softball, you kind of went through on the resume there of your teams. One of the questions that kind of stands out that it comes to my head is you played major softball. You mentioned you have won, you know, major nationals. You've won some big tournaments, obviously, in the game. And then you kind of went back into the A-ball side of things. So what is that like? You know, I know that the competitor in you knows you can play it, you know, with a major team. We all know that. It's obvious. But what was that step back, or not even step back, but what did that feel like going from obviously one of the best teams back to an A team?
No, for sure. Well, just I mean, I feel like I kind of did my time. I did my time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I won my games. I played with a lot of different guys. I think it was just time, just that time to get back with my brother, get back with some of my buddies, and
yeah,
just again, just like share those experiences that I had with my previous groups, and just kind of bring it with them, and just share, trying to get those experiences and bring it with them, and try and get get those same experiences with this group, with the young guys, you know what I'm saying, especially guys that really are just getting going, just starting, just their first couple years in the game. So really just teaching them and helping them grow as players.
right,
They
right.
probably love that advice coming from you, knowing that you've been on the biggest stages, and they definitely have learned a thing or two from you as that team just kind of continues to get better every single year. I mean, you always hear that Fat Kids is in the major team, high level A team category. I 100% think you guys are a major team and have the talent to win some tournaments and win some big games. What's something you tell to these A players, or when you talk to the lower level B players, what is something you tell these guys that you kind of take pride in, that you talk to them about?
Yeah, well, just to play the game hard, because I'll say that is kind of something that stands out playing in major to A.
Mhm.
Just when you're playing major teams, like guys are going hard like all the time. It's like 99, 100%, like guys are they hit a ball into the outfield, they're looking at two, you know what I'm saying? So playing around some of the A teams, they just kind of get more comfortable with maybe a hit. They don't really try and uh you know
Be as
hustle
aggressive.
out, yeah, be as aggressive or hustle things out as much. But so just trying to show them when we do play these major teams, like when we played Flash, like Danny was freaking, anytime he touches the ball, he's looking to stand on third base. So just showing them examples like that, and just trying to share that with them, so they could see, well, they hear it from me first, and then they see firsthand examples like that. So just so again, we're growing, because these guys are learning every day. They're getting better every day. They're picking it up fast. But just trying to share things like that with them, so they can just become complete players. And just really take off and grow.
Yep, it's great
Yeah.
advice.
So really quick, I just we had a bunch of people jump on. Mr. Anthony Noach. So just so those individuals who don't know your first name, want to make sure
Yeah.
we call you by your first name. We had a gentleman jump on, and I want to just kind of leads us right into my next question. Well, obviously, Wags, welcome to the show. We appreciate it. Mark, obviously, welcome. Adam Olson, welcome. Pops has just jumped on. Welcome. We've had Michael Cox. We've had Pat Schillo. We had our nephew Pete join. We had Vargas LA. We had Nicholas Kimmer, Justin Cano, Delano Paul, Steve Burke, Brady Fisher, um, Kevin Healy, Zach, welcome. Joe, Marty Dozen, Anthony. So bunch of people jumping on the feed. Obviously, we appreciate it. This is the Uncle Jimmy, Cousin Donnie show, sponsored by the Beacon Tab. Tonight is episode number 52. And our man and our guest tonight is Mr. Anthony himself, Noach. So, Noach, we had a gentleman in our chat here by the name of Alex, played for Hardaway, or I believe that's what it is, Hardaway, right?
Yep,
So,
hard play.
you guys played them in the championship game, I believe.
Yeah,
They
we played.
the losers bracket, right? After
Yeah.
we played them the first night.
Right.
They had an individual in left field on Saturday who claims his toe was broke and he couldn't go to Iowa. So, uh, I just wanted to ask
Who
you.
was that, Jimmy? What was that guy's name?
I got
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't remember? It's all good. It's all good. You don't have to.
Nate. I don't know. Nate something. I can't remember his last name. So, but anyways, tell us a little bit about your run through the tournament. Tell us
Yeah.
about, what took place over the weekend and just kind of how you guys all played. And if you want to throw anyone out there for, you know, obviously having an incredible weekend, giving some props, things like that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah. So Friday night we started out. We played Hardway for the first time. Played. It was a tough game. I think we only ended up winning by like two. It was like a 9-7 or 8-6 game or something like that. You know. But yeah, a very solid group. Those guys were hitting the ball. They had like two or three lefties that were just mashing balls over the fence. Guys were just flying around the bases. You know, uh, they were definitely a solid group for sure. Um, After that, Saturday, we played Sancho's first. Uh, Another, just Sancho's. If you play at Harrison Park, everybody knows them.
Yep.
Mhm.
Uh, After Sancho's, we played. I
Waves
think.
up.
Oh yeah, waves. Was it waves up?
Flash, yeah, waves up. Yep.
Waves up. Yeah, obviously the splash group. By that time, I think they had one too many soda
Miller Lite.
pops or
Yeah.
Miller Lights, whatever we want to call it. But yeah, obviously still always a competitive game with those guys. And then after that, we ran into the winners championship was Wolfpack. Always a very scrappy group. Always back and forth battles with them. And then after that, we ran it back into Hardway again. And I just after seeing them and the weekend, once we beat them Friday night, and I seen them come back Saturday morning, and Nate wasn't playing in left field. I knew they were coming back with a vengeance. I just had a feeling that we're gonna see them back in the championship. They had a long way to go. They had a lot of good games. I was watching them from afar.
Yep.
But they really battled and they made it back. And then again, just played a tough game. I think obviously they ran out of gas a little bit. Not to discredit our team at all, but we obviously played really well this weekend. We had a couple. We had a half of our group of from Fat Kids with a couple pickups, a couple Goodwood guys. Jeremy and Mikey play really well. Cedro from Demons, he was also hitting his ass off all weekend. Who else did we have? And then obviously just our same guy, a handful of our guys from the Fat Kids, so and then obviously our major pickup Pops Alejandro, can't forget him. Shout out Meatball City.
Yeah. Since you brought him up,
Oh,
how does
boy.
it feel to get Pops a championship for once?
My guy's been on hiatus for a little bit on the championship side since his up in smoke days, so we had to get him back on the good side.
Yeah, I hear you. So we just had a comment come through. Chris Pohanka. Yeah. Donnie's on his phone, and I'm actually on an Apple computer, so that is the difference. But unfortunately, I go on the Apple, so we were able to control and do more things for the feed. So, very good question. We definitely appreciate it. But and
I like
going back to you, just wanted to say obviously congratulations. I'm happy that you were able to get Pops a championship. Our guy Pops, he's been definitely in search of one of those for quite some time. So, but really, who stood out for you on your team that was, going into the weekend, you're like, we really need this guy to play well, obviously to win, but also who's that guy that was like the surprise of the weekend? Because you always have one, whether it be
Yeah.
defensively or offensively, that really stepped up.
Um, let's see. I mean, we had everybody kind of stepped up in their own right. At a certain point, everybody kind of came through. Um, you know, yeah. I mean, just as a group, obviously, like I said, Cedro was hitting really well. We needed him to play well, obviously in center field. He did, like I said, outstanding. Mikey from Goodwood, another guy who did really well. Uh, so I mean. I guess everybody really, so we all just kind of came through in different times, it was just a collective effort, really.
And the other thing you mentioned, your brother.
Oh yeah, he
We
was out
we
there.
We know he's
Oh yeah.
and
I forget about him sometimes.
yeah.
You're just so used to playing with him, you don't even
Yeah.
realize he's out there anymore.
Right. I just most of the time I tune him out, so that's why I just forget that he's there.
Well, I was gonna say, he was a part of those impact teams when you were
Right.
on impact, and I know he's, always been a above average pitcher by far. Uh, you guys starting these fat kids and going to this team. I mean, how has he adjusted? Because impact at one point, you guys were, a top 8 team
Yeah.
in softball.
No, for sure. You know, I mean, he's been doing. I mean, he's been doing well. I mean, he's not like he's ever been super like full of himself or anything like that.
Yeah.
He's always been a pretty humble guy. So, you know, taking a step, like you said earlier, you say taking a step back, but just kind of moving to an A team or a different team.
Right.
But like he's been a humble guy, since I've known him. He's been a knucklehead and an airhead, but
Yeah.
he's a humble guy. So, wasn't too much of a step for him. He's really over the last 2 years that I've been with him, really kind of stepping more into a leadership role, really, you know, like I said earlier, sharing those experiences that we did have, with
Yep.
those impact teams and things like that with these new guys, instead of just kind of being there, just really, like I said, stepping up into a leader. So that's been cool.
Yeah, and when I mean step back, I'm just saying, from me.
No, for sure. Right,
I
right,
don't
right.
want to make it seem like it's a bad thing.
No,
It's just that you're not on technically a classified major team now,
right,
and you're
no,
going
for
back to
sure.
play A. So, but yeah, no, the cool thing about Chicago is that our A teams do, really compete against the major teams, and we do have some upsets in some tournaments where A teams do beat major teams. Like
Sorry,
go
Donnie.
back to the Westchester tournament.
Damn it.
Um,
We were trying to avoid that at all costs.
we had
Trying
oh
to not miss.
Donnie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right. No
that was
worries.
the one tournament that you didn't realize that you didn't play on Sunday, right?
Correct. But we
Okay.
played a lot on Sunday in North South. I just want
Yes,
to
and that was the one we thought the tournament ended on Saturday at North South.
correct.
So
Correct. Thank you.
just want to out there.
I do want to chime on in and answer some of these comments. Man talked about Lil Dave the Great. I think Lil Dave played with you guys in
Oh,
fact
right,
this
little Dave.
weekend as
He
well.
came out on Saturday.
Pop says the best to ever do it, Lil Dave. Someone mentioned when we were talking about people that stepped up and played good. Mike Trump said the player from Players Inc. That's my guy, Johnny McIlvain. He plays outfield a little bit for Players Inc. Pop says they did win a tournament this year, Jimmy, when the kickoff tournament, the SSA kickoff. That's very true. Meatball City did win that
Oh
tournament.
yeah, we forgot about that. They
We
won
did.
on our one. I forgot about that.
There we go.
That's a good call. No, it's a good call. I forgot about it.
100%. It but yeah, a lot of support from the chat tonight. They love seeing Noach in the video stream. So appreciate you for coming on the show. I mean, I might be late to the party. It's kind of a stupid question, but where does Noach, is that a nickname that you got early, and where does that kind of come from?
Yeah, so man, it's like going through since I was a kid, it actually came from, I don't know if you guys are basketball fans, but back in the day, like what, 04, 05-ish, when Andres Nocioni was on the
Oh,
Bulls.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so
You guys look identical.
yeah, so at that time,
Mike.
at that time I had a little bit of hair, obviously playing basketball at the time. So it started off as Nocioni and just kind of, emerged into Noach. And now 20 freaking years later, people don't even know my damn real name.
True. We got more people to come here because we said Noach was coming on, not Anthony. That's for sure.
Right. No, for sure. I know some people, they'll be like, Anthony, like, damn, I didn't know that. Or who the hell is that?
That's
Yeah,
cool.
that's Facebook. I had to go to Facebook to get your real name because I didn't know you. I didn't know your last name, so
Yeah.
which is awesome. But go ahead, Donnie.
I was sitting with Mark Manizzi yesterday, and he's a big fan of you. He's a big
Just my
fan of
guy.
you. Exactly. And he said, you got to bring up some of the early teams that you guys played on together. I believe he said a team was called Blackout.
Oh, Blackout, yeah.
A really early team that you guys played with together. But Talk about the relationship that you've kind of kept with Matt and Mark, and I know Scar was on those early teams too,
Yeah,
but
for sure.
he always kind of says that you're his guy, and
Yeah.
I can't leave him off the show today. He'd be pissed at me. So why don't you go ahead
No,
and talk?
for sure.
You can talk shit about those guys all you want. It's great.
Nah, no, I have nothing bad to say about them guys.
Right.
Man,
Wait till I get
so
the rapid fire.
um man, Scars and actually I met in high school. So we were like freshmen or maybe sophomores. Just I think I overheard him talking about softball at lunch one day. And like
Mhm.
I was kind of already going out with my brother to Lemons games and like so I had already been playing a little bit and so I was like, you guys talking about softball? And so, like, sure enough, we start shooting the shit, and then he invites me out, and then we're just playing. We're a bunch of sophomores in high school, so like, 13, 14 year olds playing, double header games, at 8 o'clock at night with no umpire,
Yep.
and just for cases of beer, versus neighborhood guys and shit like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, and then obviously that's how I met, and then Matt Menizzi, Mark Menizzi, um, and Scars obviously, just that was 15 years ago, 10 years ago. So just been just been great, being with them guys. Once I was on Impact, I was like, hey, I got these guys. While I was talking to Stan and Jeff Batall, I was like, hey, I got these guys. We got to get them out. They'll make our team better. Brought them on up to Impact, and
Yeah. We don't talk about signature guys on this show.
yeah,
So
Hated. Very hated.
no.
Noach loves me though. I always give him good pitches to hit. That's for sure.
yeah,
I think Noach bats 970 off me in the time that I've played against Noach. So I appreciate you getting into the depth on those guys. They definitely wanted the shout out. So Jimmy, what else you got?
You know what, Noach? I wanted to talk a little bit about. You mentioned that their hardway team that you played. They had some lefties going over the fence.
oh yeah,
Who were the two or the individuals that were hitting it? Because what is that, like a 225? I mean, it's a short fence, but
yeah, about around there, 220ish, 230 maybe. I don't actually know their names, but I think one was like a third baseman. One played outfield,
okay. Just
and
trying to
yeah,
recruit for Papa Hops, so
no,
appreciate
for sure, for sure. They had like four lefties. There was guys they were hitting it every time he turned around. There was another guy hitting over the fence.
it. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I
Thank
mean,
God
Jimmy,
the
we
wind was blowing in when we played them in the championship. So
okay. Well, one of the things that was brought to my attention, and I want to share it with you, was the fence. There's a rule on one of the fields. If you hit the fence, it's an out. But if you go over the fence, it's a homer or something like that. I mean,
oh,
can you
and
explain that rule? What's going on over at Harrison Park? Because that sounds like that's a rule made up by Dave Padilla.
yeah, so on the one field, there's like a little cement sidewalk out in far right field.
Right. I do remember.
So yeah, so from the right field line to, we'll just for sake of conversation say 200 feet, right, or roughly, there's the orange line. So anything from that orange line to the foul
Wow.
line
Yep.
is out. If it hits the cement or the fence without going over the fence, automatic out. So,
Really.
but yeah, so and then there's from the left of that line though, for another say 150 feet, there's another orange hash. So if you hit it in between those that orange hash, it hits the field, hits the cement or the fence, that is a automatic double. And then if it goes to the left of that third hash, then it's an automatic triple. And then obviously if it goes over the fence, it's a home run.
Really. Who?
Mhm.
I mean, I mentioned. Oh, by the way, I mentioned Dave Padilla. He had an accident last weekend.
Saw
Obviously,
that.
hopefully he's doing better. He had a gash in his head. I know you ain't gonna hurt that head, so he'll be fine. But
He had a neck brace on in the photos. I hope he's all right.
yeah, he'll be fine. I talked to him. He's fine. He had a little concussion. It ain't gonna hurt that head. He'll be fine. Trust me. So you mentioned about this fence. I'm just curious, like, how does someone come up with it where, because obviously you can't run up there and catch it, I'm guessing. That's why they came
Right.
up with being an out. But if you
Right.
smoke a line drive and it hits the fence, that's an out, even though you beat the outfielder. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to
Yes.
understand the
No,
rule.
yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, because when the cement, I say cement sidewalk, but it's actually like 2 feet, like it's like the cement like block is like 2 feet high, so it's like
Hmm.
if you're running into it, you'll trip over it. So it's
Yeah.
just mostly for a
Right.
safety thing. But yeah,
Right.
if you do beat the outfielder without going over the fence, then yeah, fuck, it's just an out.
It's an
Yep.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. It's just I love those rules like that are just park rules. Like back in
Hmm.
the day at Clyde Park, they used to have the mope rule, where you used to hit it over the fence, you
Oh
were
yeah.
automatically out on a foul ball, which that
Into
means
the freaking alley, huh?
Kurt
That
from my
happens all the
right
time
there.
there.
Huh?
That happens like all the time there
Yeah, I mean,
at
back in
Clyde.
the day, like in the early 2000s, I want to say they used to have the mope rule, and it was pretty entertaining. Like when people used to hit it over the fence, they would always say, mope, and they would have to go get it, and it was a cool rule. And
Hmm.
this Harrison rule
I
seems
didn't get
like
my
it's something
charger.
that's very similar. So
You're good.
go ahead, get your charger, take your time. We got to make sure you're all gassed up, ready to go for rapid fire. So.
All right.
All right, Donnie, why don't you go to the crowd while he gets his phone on the
Yeah.
charger, see what comments are coming in.
We got some good ones. We have well, I want to ask Mike Trump, who's been in the comments. We were playing against them at North South. He was playing right field for Goodwood, and I think he hurt his finger pretty bad on a fly ball to right field. I hope he is okay. I know he got taken out of the game. I don't know where he is or if he's doing all right, but he like broke his finger pretty bad, I think.
Yeah.
Hector Ram Rodriguez, who was another major pickup for Fat Kids this weekend. He is the 45s coach, so that qualifies. He
Did a
says
great job this weekend. Thanks, Ram. And
he
Raider,
said
can't leave out my guy Raider.
Mope should leave out your guy Raider. Mope rule should be back. Jim Macy says the one who hit it should get it. I like that comment a lot. Sean McCready says because you can't catch the ball on the cement, you'll definitely hurt yourself at Harrison. People are loving this comments about Dave Padilla. Jimmy, appreciate that. Getting a laugh. Here's a great comment that we got. This is someone on our Twitch stream. We are streaming over on Twitch. This person says, I don't know much about the topic you're talking about. Appreciate it. Trab sponsor is my passion, by the way, but the stream really seems entertaining. This deserves more views for sure. Greetings from Germany. Have a great stream. Big shout out to that person from Germany. Note, you're bringing in customers from
Hey.
all over the world. Appreciate it.
Worldwide, man. What can I say?
It must be your good looks, Noach.
Yeah.
That's right.
Just leave the hat on, though. Don't take that thing
Right, of
off. I
course.
don't want to get
No.
blinded.
I got
Jason,
you. I finally
Jason,
got some sun on it, so I got a little tan, little base layer.
I hear
that's
you.
right. Jason Camarillo wants to know the signature Meatball City line tomorrow. I'm going to leave that up to Jimmy. He'll do that as we go through the first round. He thinks we're a 4.5 run favorite, though, probably just to aggravate Pops in the chat, which is great. That'll always get the job done. We appreciate
We'll get
that.
there. Tell Jason we'll get there, right? Have a hot dog. We'll get there, my man. Snickers bar or something. We'll get there.
But that's it from the chat's been great. Pops is just, I believe he tagged Bruce Lee to come on and watch the show, which would be awesome. I was going to ask you about that, Noach. You said you had talked to Bruce and want to give us a check-in on how he's doing and everything.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I talk to him pretty much on a daily basis now. I seen him a couple of days ago. He's in really high spirits, really ready to go, fired up, looking great, looking amazing. I can't wait for you guys to see him out on the field.
He's watching.
Yeah, he said all those singles that he used to hit are now doubles. So watch out, guys.
Yeah.
Watch out. But yeah, no, he's definitely ready, really eager, ready to get out there. Like I said, I can't. He just looks great. What I'm saying, cut a lot of pounds, looks great. I love to have him out there. I missed him a lot, and I'm really looking forward to having him back out there with us.
Yep. When a quick story about Bruce, he was playing against my dad at Harrison Park. When the pool, he would hit balls off the pool, and that's difficult to do because you got to hit it over that tall fence, and usually people just kind of bounce it into the pool, and he would hit balls off the top of that pool. So I thought he was the greatest player I ever seen in my life when I was 8 years old, because no one could hit the ball that far. So that was cool, and I it's awesome to see that he's going to be back out there with us. So Bruce, great to see you, man, and thanks for chiming in on the chat from the gym. Appreciate
I
it.
can't wait to see him in Wrigley again. That's what I can't wait to see.
Yeah.
Have good old times. So, but no, man, I appreciate you, Bruce, joining. He said he's at the gym right now,
Oh
watching
yeah.
him. So maybe
He's
we're giving him some motivation,
for sure. He's throwing around some weights in there for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure, no doubt about that. But let's get over to rapid fire. Notes, we do this pretty much every guest that we have on the show. We ask the guests to give us 1 or 2 sentences about the individual. Kind of the first thing that comes to mind. If it's a one-word answer, we're okay with that. Obviously, we want you to talk some smack about the individual. If there's anything funny or something you'd like to share to the audience. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with number 10. And this gentleman is a man I've been making fun of most of the time on the show tonight, and that's his name is Pops Alejandro.
Pops Alejandro. Fuck. I don't know. Fucking asshole.
That's what I like to hear. All right, my man. I love it. Enough said. Number 9, Bobby Russ Jr.
The GOAT. The GOAT.
All right.
Great.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, great guy. Like one of my favorite guys from my time with Flash. Obviously, a lot of busting balls. Learned a lot from him. Like he'll fuck around a lot, but he'll snap you back into plays real quick. You know what I'm saying? And he'll also teach you, put it to the side, and let you know what it is for one,
Yep.
and just a good teaching moment too.
Right. So number 8, I'm staying on the Flash train because obviously you spent 4 or 5 years with Flash. This gentleman is a man that you used to kind of play first a little bit with, catch EH, and that is Shane Lawler, number 8.
Oh my gosh, I can't say enough good things about Shane. Top 2 favorite guys from when I was spend my time there. I mean, nothing against any of the other guys, but yeah, I mean, like you said, we shared the same position. I'm saying a lot of conversations with them. In before games, during games. Just the best. Always in a good mood, no matter what. Just yeah, I like I said, I have nothing but good things to say about that guy. I love him.
Perfect. Number 7, we're going back over to the Fat Kids, your current team now, and that is our boy Fat Jason, number 7.
What a degenerate. We'll just leave it at that. He means well. He means well, though. He means well, though.
Number 7, I love it. Oh, that's great. Degenerate. I love it. I love it.
What a degenerate.
He has a good heart, though. He means well.
Okay. I had the next gentleman we kind of already talked a little bit. He's in the gym right now. Number 6, Bruce, obviously Lee.
No, for sure. That's a second big brother to me. I mean, I've known him since I was Pampers. So watching him grow as a person, obviously, and as a softball player, has been amazing. I can't, like I said before, I just can't wait to have him back out here with us, battling and just being able to, be around him again.
So, Bruce, I had the pleasure of, and I'm going to just add this because I had the pleasure of meeting him a handful of years ago. And we've always been, I feel like we've just been buddies ever since. And to your point, I just think like he's always a guy that's willing to, just kind of give his hand to help the next
Yeah.
one,
For sure, he'll give you his if even if he doesn't know you, he'll give you the shirt off his back,
Yeah.
the socks off his damn feet. You know what I'm saying? He's a good dude. He'll take care of you no matter what. He's always looking out to make sure that everyone's good, everyone's taken care of, everyone's in a good mood, everyone's having a good time. So yeah, you can always count on Bruce Lee for sure.
So number 5, I'm going back to the Flash train, and that is a gentleman who I feel is probably one of the better players, probably top 3 players. Doesn't get enough credit sometimes. Danny Dispenza.
Whew. Buzzsaw, like I said, that guy, every time he's just on a million, every time you see him, he hits a ball no matter where it's going. He's looking to stand on third base. He's always aggressive with everything. Even if you hear him if he's making outs, you hear him if he's getting hits, you see him running around the bases, you hear the ball coming off that bat. But yeah, another one of my favorite guys from over there.
So number 4, I always have to throw an umpire in there just because of the fact that umpires today are just, unfortunately, they're just so inconsistent. I love them all, but they just are. And that is our boy, Chooch. And I know you and Chooch have had many of our
Yeah.
So tell me about your boy Chooch.
Man, where could I start with that guy? Man, fuck. Man, we've had a lot of arguments. Went back and forth a lot of times, from Mount Prospect to fucking Clyde Park to Southside Kennedy Park, Hamlin Park, especially, Donovan Park. Anywhere that guy. I feel like that guy just follows me just to fuck with me. But no, I love Chooch though. I love him. You know, he started to grow on me the last over the last handful of years.
He's a
So
really good dude. He
yeah,
really
no,
is.
for sure. Another guy who,
He was one of the guys. And I want to add this because I think it's important for people to know. He was one of the guys in the winter when the whole fall ball or winter ball dome stuff all kind of took. He was one of the guys that reached out to me and said, "Hey, Jimmy, if you need an umpire, I'll drive out there for you," and he did.
right,
Which I think is, to me, is like, it shows that it matters to him. Yes, I know people say, "Oh, you're driving out there for the money," but yeah, okay, I get that.
right,
But you know what? For a lot of people, they think it's, oh my God, it's 40 minutes away. Like, oh my God, I can't drive out there. And he did. He was willing to come out there, ump games, stay there 2, 3 in the morning for the championships and do those things.
yeah.
And he was able to throw out Sal, which made
Hmm.
it
He
even more
did.
better over the time.
He
So
sure did.
so that's awesome. So at this point, this is where we put our kind of like a hard stop on. We get Danny to read, or Donnie to read, cousin Donnie to read some of our comments in the chat
Okay.
before we get to the top 3.
I will
All right.
say, Chooch almost got killed by the Chucks guys during North South because it was pouring rain,
Oh
and
yeah.
he blew a call, and the
I
Chucks
was
guys
watching that
I thought they were gonna break him in half, to be honest
for
with you,
sure.
because those guys are scary
Yeah,
looking
Jake
dudes.
Reynolds standing next to him. I
Correct.
thought he was gonna bite his head off.
He just would have picked him up and
Yeah.
snapped him. But there was it was an interesting 20 minutes out there watching that happen. Jeff says, "Note, you tell him about your Yuma MVP."
Oh yeah. I'm back in 2014. And that was actually our second year that we went to Yuma, right after Moise had just won it the year before with no gloves. And then the next year we went out. Scotty Herdecki actually came with us from that Moist team, and then just with our same regular group. But that was a crazy year too, man, because we really went through a freaking gauntlet of teams. Because at that time we played Psychopaths back. That was like our Sunday was like Psychopaths, Bud Light, uh, Faux Show. Well, they were called Hot Sauce back then, but the Faux Show guys. Um, there was a team Bud Light, which was like the old Kongs guys. Which I think Jimmy, you played them in the Budweiser team. You played them, a handful of those guys a
Yep.
couple years ago.
Yep.
We like them, and then a team from Yuma. We played in the championship. No worries. So it was just like it was just team after team after team, and they were all good games back and forth. Obviously, the crowds were all against us, yelling at us and everything. So it was definitely intense. It was definitely intense.
Cool.
But yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. It was a really good weekend. We really got after it as a group for sure.
There's some more good comments. PJ Rain says, The ump was great last night, though. Jimmy, who was your ump last night, Jim?
Oh, Pat.
Oh,
So
that's the guy who threw you out earlier this year.
yes, he was incredible last night. Just well performed game. Here's the thing about Pat. Super nice guy. I just
Oh
think
boy. Oh
sometimes
boy.
he loses control of the strike zone where certain times it's a strike and other times it's not, and it's okay. Like I get it. He's human, but there's been a lot of things going around about possibly using a mat. Might not be a bad idea in the future because if it hits the mat, it's a strike. If it doesn't, you know,
Yeah.
you're
Sure.
not putting that on the ump, right? So I don't know. So it's just opportunities. You know what I mean?
Sure. I think Pat's a great umpire, and he honestly shows a ton of effort. He is
He
always
does.
moving. He runs out there. So I
He
appreciate that
does.
about Pat. Mike Trump said a money line versus Chucks. -6.5 for money line. TJ Flanagan says Chucks are all gentle giants. Noach single-handedly beat the psychopaths. Scotty Herdecki says we got one for Ponch. Richard Roach says Noach class act, one of a kind. Glad I jumped on. Mad respect as a player and man. So high praise in the chat for Mr. Noach here, or Anthony, whatever you want to call him. Pat's the best ump in the game. Which ump is better, Pat or Nick, Jimmy? JP wants to know.
Well, I actually want to get a call this weekend, so I don't want to talk about umpires.
Yeah.
But last night was a tough game, both ways. So but I would say Nick was better last night.
Okay. All right. Well, you do want to get a call, so I would be as kind as possible.
Yes.
Nick, we love you from the Uncle Jimmy
Yeah.
Cousin Donnie show. Pat, we love you.
Yes.
We're doing all right.
Yes.
Go ahead, Jimmy, and keep on going with your top three.
So number 3 has been a classic name on the Uncle Jimmy and Cousin Donnie show. By the way, sponsored by the Beacon Tab, Mr. Tommy Reamer. So thank you, sir. But this name has been brought up quite a bit on our show. He has made a top 3, and now it's become almost not necessarily a joke, but it's kind of a joke, and that's our boy Gio. So tell us a little bit about Gio, what you think of Gio, my man.
Man, I mean, again, like I said before about someone else. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like he means well. Could he go about things differently? Obviously, I feel like um, but I feel like he still does like a lot of good things for the game.
Yep.
Still spreading. Obviously showing all of the live streams. I think that the softball showcase is super cool. It's getting a lot of just highlights for some guys that might not have normally got praise or
Yeah, very true.
that recognition on a regular basis or without that like
Right.
shout out my guy Tom Boyle from Fat Kids
It's a great point.
a first year guy that hasn't really played like too much on this level, like maybe a couple fill-ins or a couple leagues here and there, but so just things like that. Obviously I feel like he does really well with obviously in other areas he could do a little bit better with his maybe people skills or things like that, but
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, yeah, 100%. Like I think to your point, like he means well in a lot of things that he does. His actions might not say that way, but for
right.
what he does, like personally, and we've always talked about this. Obviously everyone appreciates what he does for live streaming. That's 100%. Like I just want to make that clear because everyone thinks like, oh,
Yeah,
you
no,
hate
for
Gio,
sure.
you hate this, I just hate some of the things and the way he acts sometimes. But I mean, we all have our opinions, and I'm sure he hates me too. So I really, it's like it is what it is.
No, for
But
sure.
appreciate you being honest there. So number 2 is our boy Punch. Obviously, rest in peace. Obviously, he just recently passed away in the last year or so. So
Yeah.
definitely want to give our condolences, obviously, to the family, and hopefully everything has been as best it can be since then. So tell
Yeah.
us about our man Punch.
Man, the reason why I am where I am in this game today is because of that man right there, because obviously letting me, I mean, obviously he didn't have much of a choice, they were short most of the damn time. But just obviously giving me a chance to play, and giving me a start as a 16-year-old kid, just following his big brother around to games and stuff, and just kind of taking me in as one of his own, just I was, like I said, here's $20, go get food, go get something, go get some Gatorade or some candy or something, so uh even like, oh, you need a ride to the game, pick me up for the game, or just always there, just always a mentor, just sharing his own experiences in the game, because I mean he was around the game for a lot of years himself too,
Yeah.
so just definitely a pioneer for myself, just allowing me, giving me that shot and opportunity.
Yeah, I unfortunately I don't. I've only met him a handful of times. I don't.
Yeah.
I was not as close,
He was
with
a bulldog for sure. He was a bulldog.
he
He'll get
was.
he'll get after you for sure. If he felt that if you weren't, giving good effort or enough effort, or if you're fucking off, he'll definitely get on you, or and maybe sometimes more than maybe it was called for, but that was
Sure.
him. He was just a competitor. He didn't want to waste his fucking time. He wanted to win at all costs, so which you can't really blame, so
No.
you could always appreciate somebody that holds you accountable, keep you on your toes. So
Right.
uh you know
Yeah, what I was gonna say is that kind of to what you just said is that I've only met him a handful of times, maybe a little more, and he was always a competitor. He was always super nice to me. Always
yeah,
said, "How you doing, Jimmy?" Always said, "What's going on? How's so and so." So, just for that, it was just kind of those type of talks. But yeah, it sucks to lose good people like that in the game.
yeah, for
There's
sure.
a there's a good comment from Mike Trump. He says, "Remember when Ponch told Red to stop squeezing his zone because he he owed Ponch money."
Yeah, that was another thing. He didn't have no damn filter either. He'll shoot you straight, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and that's probably why I liked him. So, number one. I mean, I had to put this guy number one. Obviously, it's your own brother. I mean, he has been there from day one with you.
Yeah.
MFing you when you went to Flash and
Yeah,
left them.
for sure.
And I know because I was around during those days, and I just wanted to, tell us about your brother because I think a lot of people don't really even know that you guys are brothers.
Right.
Right.
And to me, I think it's classic because he's like the 5'11" and you're like the 6'10" monster.
Yeah.
And like how does that happen? But either way, tell us about Angelo. Go right ahead.
Yeah. So obviously Angelo, my brother, I we actually just had an incident, a case this weekend where a guy, I've known him for years. He just found out that Angelo was my brother. Just this weekend at Harrison Park. So, there's still people to this day finding out that we're brothers.
Mhm.
We actually, so we do have a different dad, but the same mom. But we're
Yep.
always just raised as brothers. It's like, I mean, I wouldn't. If you would ask me, I would have said we had the same parents. Just how
Yeah.
we were raised. So, but yeah, like you said, he's definitely, been there from the start. I was just a little kid, going to his games just for something to do, watching him play, uh, you know, and then just being able to be on the same team with him since, I mean, I broke off for him when I went to Flash, caught a couple motherfucks for that. Uh, uh, Shout out Bruce Lee, caught a
Yeah.
couple motherfucks from him for that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But but I made my way back. I made my way back,
Right.
but just always, yeah, I mean, sharing the field with him is special though. I mean, there's a lot of guys, that there's a handful of us that have our brothers, like Pops and Joel, Maddie and Marty Dozin, and then Mark and Matt Menizzi, obviously Brian Davis and
Yep.
Ricky, so I mean, there's a lot of us, or a handful of us at least, so they understand kind of what I'm saying, but it's definitely special being out there with your brother. You know, as much as he fucking gets on my nerves, and as much as I want to wring his neck sometimes, um, but I'm sure likewise too. You know, like I'm not that I'm a perfect angel myself. You know, so
Right.
uh, you know, but it's definitely coming back to Fat Kids and being able to be with him again. It really uh like kind of it kind of just brought it back to reality, like this is where I should be, kind of thing, you know, like, you know, just being back with him and just sharing the field with him again and being able to compete and just battle out there with him.
Sure.
Because I mean the Fat Kids, they're all my brothers, but obviously that's my blood brother. So
Oh yeah, no, 100%. That was well said, my man.
How about a team of brothers with
so
the
I,
guys that you named?
so that actually was a thing. I think it was Terry Moran a couple years
Okay.
ago. Maddie put it together, but I wasn't able to make it. And I just had a conversation with Maddie Dozen like 2 weekends ago. Actually, at right after that, the Chucks guys were about to snap Chooch in half. Right after that happened, I was talking with Maddie
Dude.
under next to the food stand, and
Yeah.
I told him the same thing. I was like, dude, we got to do this, you know, we got to put this in motion again. Like,
Yep.
this would be awesome. Like, especially now, a lot of we're more kind of experienced players, been around the block a little bit, you know, so I really think it'll be cool to do something like that for sure.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Like Pop said, there's no better feeling than playing with your own brother. I get the chance to play with my brother in the park leagues at Genera, and I love it. I love
Right,
playing.
see, Donnie, you got your brother too, so you
Yeah,
know what I'm saying.
exactly. It's awesome. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool to kind of hold the field with your brother. So you guys obviously play at a higher level, and that's got to be even better. So that would
Me,
be a pretty damn good team.
me and little Dave are related, so he is the best looking white guy, as I always say. So me and Dave played together. We're brothers. So
Yeah, you guys can hop on the squad.
yeah, me and little Dave. So we're in. I'll talk to little
Nice.
Dave tomorrow.
I'll
So
I'll, I'll tell
I'll
Maddie
talk
throw
to
you
little
guys on the
Dave.
roster.
yeah, for sure. So I have two questions. One question left before I get to my last question for you. So, and there's Dave Bradford in the chat laughing. So,
Oh
but
yeah, Shane and Denny too.
my
Right,
question to
Shane
you
and
is,
Danny.
what is the one major player, or just could be any individual, doesn't have to be a major player, that currently plays the game right now that you haven't played with, that you would love to play with in the
Hmm,
future?
man.
And
Hmm.
take Donnie and I out of it because I'm sure we'd be number
Right,
one and number two. But
right. Okay. Damn. So give me a second, because you just took my top two answers away.
no,
Yeah,
Um, man,
that's a good one.
that is, man. Fuck. Let me see. Um, I'm trying to
Stumped him.
think. Yeah,
Stumped
fuck,
him, Jim.
man.
You got him.
Uh,
it's a
well,
stumper.
not because I mean I played with so many guys though. That's
Yeah.
the thing, you know. It's
Yeah,
like, fuck. Man, I don't know. You know who's really growing on me though, as of recently? I'll say that. Um,
I was gonna say, you want a phone a friend? You want a 50-50 or a life?
no, no, no. I'll just say this. I was like, you know who's really growing on me? You know, because obviously you compete against people. I don't say you dislike them, but you're just always competing against them. So it's not, you don't really get to know them too well, you
Mhm.
know. But when
Right.
you really, but a guy that's really growing on me that I like to watch play is Kurt he's
Oh,
with Hex, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, he's the guy that's really growing on me, honestly. I just another guy who's just always fucking running everything, always on a million fucking miles an hour, running
Mhm.
everything out, you know, just always aggressive, ready to chirp you, you know. So that's a guy, like I said, I mean, early on in my career, he got on my nerves a lot, you
Oh
know.
yeah.
But again, you know, it's just from always competing against them and just being such a competitive person, and him being a competitive person, you know, just it's like, man, fuck that guy. But the more you really kind of get to know him and you know, kind of see him around and you know, things like that. Like I said,
Yeah.
he's a guy. I'll say he's growing on me
Yeah,
for sure.
For
I've
sure.
had the honor of playing with Kurt now for probably a good 5-10 seasons, and one of the things that I think I love about Kurt, he's always 120 miles an hour. And
Yeah.
I always say, God damn, I wish I would just see you one time, not play. Hi.
Yeah.
Because he'd be like 440 miles an hour,
Yeah.
So, our guy Timmy Kordakowski says a lot of bad swear words.
Well,
So
that's because Timmy got a
his,
complaint.
his quote is known. So thank you, Tim. Appreciate
That's
that.
because people complained about Timmy when he was on our show
Oh, that's
for the
right.
bad language. So
You know what though?
he is.
That's what we are. We let all the players get on this page and live stream. So,
Yeah.
Noach, that's a good answer, and I just wanted to say yes, Kurt. He is a pleasure to play with. So,
Yeah.
really good answer. So, Donnie, really quick before we get to the last question, do you have any other questions for Mr. Noach?
Yeah, was one more guy I was gonna hope you put on rapid fire, but that's okay. Talk about Stan a little bit in your time with Impact, and
I
want to talk about Stan at all, you can.
Yeah, for sure. I actually thought when you said you were saving him for number one, I thought that was who you were saving for number one.
I was gonna put him on there. I just don't know. With Stan, it's. I wasn't sure how long you were there, and I was trying to
Yeah.
think of when you passed compared to when you played, and
Yeah.
so I didn't want to go there just to make sure because you're like, I wouldn't know him. So,
No, for sure, for sure. No, I spent like 9 years with Impact, I think.
yeah,
So I mean, he seen me grow from I spent my 21st birthday with Stan, so
yeah,
um, we had actually it'll just go to show you how good of a guy he is, like he was just one of the best, man. Like another guy who will just always take care of you, always make if you were his guy, you were good, you know what I'm saying? And even if you weren't, you were good. You know what I'm saying? He was always just looking out, always making sure you were taken care of. You were having a good time, enjoying yourself, and yeah. But I spent what 9 years with him. It was my 21st birthday. We had a double header in Mount Prospect, and I turned 21. He took the entire team to a bar down the street. I forget the name of it, but buy food for everyone, shots for everyone. Just like I said, a 21st birthday celebration for a guy. It's my first year on the team. I just met the guy, and he's out here buying everyone and all of their guests, food and drinks and everything for some little kid's birthday that he just met, So,
That's cool.
yeah, that was super special. Shared a lot of good memories with that guy. I love him to death. Another guy who, taught me a lot about the game, just about life, a lot of life lessons for sure. You know, just he just knew so much. He'd been around for so long, seen the game, and just had so much wisdom and everything just to share with you. And he was ready to share it with you too. As long as you were willing to listen, he was there for you. And yeah, I mean, fuck. 9 years was a long time. I wish he was still around. I wish he was still
Hmm.
here. I mean, unfortunate how we never were able to really get over the hump for him. Like I said earlier, I kind of made a comment. We had a lot of second place finishes with Impact.
yeah,
We fell short a lot. Second place major nationals, SSA, ASA. Third place, fourth place, sixth place, seventh place. You
yeah,
name it, we finished it. Other than first,
right.
but so just a lot of just battles and like I said, a lot of memories and things that I'll cherish, like I said, forever. Just another guy that I'll never forget, and just thankful that I was able to share my softball journey with, because I mean, not everybody's like him. Not everybody's
Right.
like him, and I was just lucky to be a part of his group and his team. So
Love it. I love
We'll,
that.
we'll call Stan 1B, and we'll call your
Yeah.
brother 1A. Or
all
It's
right,
probably
cool.
flip flop. You probably
I
flip
could
flop.
do.
so,
We could do that. Right.
perfect.
On any given day, I might flip flop that, but
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Stan's
it's all right.
1A, and your
Yeah.
brother 1B.
And,
So
and just he's in my good side right now, so he could be 1A. He pitched well. He pitched well last night, so he's all right.
All right, good. That works. So at this point of the show, we always get to the final question. And this is the question I ask every single guest that comes on the show because our show is really about making softball better, right? Promoting the game, promoting our players, doing more interviews, doing more things outside of Chicago. Obviously bringing on the characters inside of Chicago that we do have, right? The Kornikowskis of the world, obviously Donnies of the world, Adams of the world, the people
Thanks.
like Will Smith, Will Russ, a lot of the guys that maybe,
Swags.
yeah, that want to have a voice or just want to be a part of growing softball. And so that's why, Donnie, yes, we started it at 1 a.m. drunk at McGaffers, but look what we were growing to, and we're continuing to grow the game and really try to get it out to all the players. So my question to you, Noach, and it's to every guest we have, is if there was one thing in softball that you'd like to bring to the game to make it better or change in softball right now to make it better, what would it be?
Man, and I was trying to think of my answer for this for fuck since the beginning of this show. Shit. Um, man, I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of it stems from number one, like commitment level. Obviously that's not really anything that you could change, but
Mm,
I think as much, I don't know if there's anything that you can do to really gets people to show up more, or
Right.
it's just kind of a different day and age now that they just don't care as much about the game, or they're just not as willing to cut everything out to be at an 8 o'clock game on a Tuesday night or something,
Yep.
because I definitely feel like the commitment level for sure is different. I mean, because since even from when I first started, like back in '09, I mean, we're still playing qualifiers in Mount Prospect every weekend, so we were
Yep.
I think my first year with Impact, we played like 109 games in the summer, so we guys were there, so it was just like,
Yep.
and I'm sure there was parties missed and graduations missed and weddings missed and things like that. I know I missed my fair share of a whole lot of things, but you know so if there's anything really that you can do, I don't know, to do that, but things that we're doing now, I think, to get engagement into the game more, like things like this, with the streams and like with live streaming more games, and you know uh things like that to kind of get engagement. Hopefully that'll get guys more
Yep.
willing to come out. But I mean, I do like the tournament ending on Saturday idea. At first I was kind of old school about it. I was like, nah, tournament ends on Sunday, fuck that, like. But the more I guess I'm around these tournaments, like Manny's tournament this past weekend, I
mm,
mean, it wasn't slammed like but I mean, it was packed in there. Teams that were knocked out, they were there, they were drinking all night. Like, I don't know, very few guys were leaving. So that's I do think that's a good idea. That's kind of growing on me as time goes on. Because like
Yep.
I said, at first I was when you guys were first kind of bringing it up, I was like I said, I was kind of like, nah, tournaments are Thursday to Sunday. That's how it's been. That's how it should be. But the more and more that you playing on Sundays and you have to wake up Monday and you're like, fuck, I have to go to work, in the morning, you know, uh the more and more that I'm getting older now, I'm starting, my bones are starting to feel it, Monday morning,
Oh yeah.
yeah, so I mean, obviously that idea is growing. I mean, I think will help too, obviously keeping people there watching the game, keeping the stands packed and stuff like that.
And I promise to all the guests that I did not tell you to say that, right?
Nah, you didn't. No.
Yeah, promise. But the other thing, you mentioned commitment, right?
Yeah.
And we get this a lot: commitment, commitment, commitment. But one thing we never talk about is ways to improve commitment, right? So,
Right.
to your point and what you just said about Saturdays, that's how I really came up with the idea, brainstorming the idea on how that would work, ending tournaments on Saturdays. Not every tournament has to be double elimination, right?
Yeah.
We could do a winners and a consolation like Maddie does and end it in one day, right?
Hmm.
To the point of where every tournament can end on Saturday night. Yeah, you could have Forest Park. Yeah, you could have Nationals if you want to end it.
Right.
But to me, it was mind blowing. And I think Forest Park's idea this year, it wasn't really the right way, I don't think, to do it, but they wanted to go to 22 one-on-one count and on Saturday night. Like, for them to even consider and ending the tournament on Saturday night,
Yeah.
to me, is a win, because that means things are going to change in the future, right?
Right.
More and more tournaments, as you know. I mean, go watch a major. Go watch a live stream on a Sunday. You got 10 people out there for a championship game.
Yeah.
You
Even
probably had 100 out at Harrison Park.
yeah, even maybe more.
Okay,
That's
so
good.
that's my point, right? That's my point. And then now you imagine that every major event ending on a Saturday, by the end of the year, people are going to start catching on. I mean, people
Yeah,
are going
for
to
sure.
say it's a Saturday night. You can hang out. The wives can get babysitters. We
Right.
know that Sunday we don't have to get up to go to play
Yeah.
softball. Like, there's a million things that you could do to promote softball. It's not just about ending tournaments on Saturday. It's about the people that now can attend on Saturday night, knowing that
Right.
they get a babysitter, they can do this, they can plan ahead. You're not doing that on a Sunday. You're hanging out with your kids and staying home, and the
Right.
husbands are
Getting
going out
ready
to
for
work.
work the next day.
Right. And so we want to promote softball. We want to, and I'm a big believer in perception. And any business in America, perception is the number one thing that you think about it, right? You walk into a bar, the first 7 seconds you walk into a bar or any restaurant, you already have an opinion in your mind about what that place is about.
Yeah.
Perception,
Right.
right? You walk in, it's dirty. Your perception is the place is a dump,
Right.
right?
Shithole.
So same thing about softball, and it's perception. We want to grow the game. We want to talk about it, perception. So I love that. That's number one for commitment. But number two, I mean, what else notes do you think commitment can improve? I mean, obviously, less tournaments, less days means
Yeah.
commitment is more, right? You get more
Yeah.
players to show up, more of your better players. I'm a firm believer in that. Now,
Yeah.
what else can we do? We've heard like limit rosters, we've heard all that stuff, but limiting rosters might make it worse, right? So,
Not gonna
Right.
help. Yeah.
For
tell
sure.
me, what do you guys think, Donnie? You jump in on this too before we let
Man,
Coach go.
man, I mean, it's kind of tough because I mean, since I mean, since I've started, I've always, when I started back when I started, I was just it was just normal to show. I was just at every game, I mean, obviously, I was a lot
Yeah.
younger. I don't have, I didn't have, a wife and kids and a family to take care of, so it was a lot easier for me. But as I'm getting older, still, even, I mean, you make a commitment to a team. I feel like it should be something that you hold out, because guys are relying on you,
Yeah.
and so if how we get guys to kind of understand that, fuck, I wish I had that answer,
Well,
because I'd get some of my own guys to show up fuck some more.
yeah. So let me throw this at you, and then we'll hand it over to you for questions, and we'll let you go. But I think commitment starts with the top 5 teams in softball, and it rolls downhill. Okay, I'm a firm believer in this. When I started major softball, the 45s had every single player at every single game
Yeah,
all the time.
for
They
sure.
were 99% attended for league games, for tournament games. In my eyes, when you see the big teams do that, that dwindles down to the A teams, and that from the A teams, it dwindles now down to the B nationals and so on. Where back then we didn't have that. We didn't have B nationals, right? Francisco does a tremendous job with it. He ends that tournament on Saturday night because I think he sees the value. So, in my opinion, when you look at the top major teams now, Flash is always missing guys.
Yeah.
Okay? 45s, they're always
Yeah.
missing 2 or 3 guys.
Yeah.
Signature, I mean, you guys, I want to say you're probably one of the more teams that actually have commitment, but I do see Scar and Spencer over the last several years miss probably more than they should, right? And I know they've, hey, we all got things going on in life, and that's no disrespect to any of them. But, I mean, our Hex team, I mean, we're lucky to have 10 guys, I mean, who am I missing? Circus? I mean,
Yeah.
Circus has 3 different rosters, I feel. You don't know who's showing up for those guys half the time. And when they're all there, they're tremendous. And even when they're not there, they're tremendous. So, to me, that makes a difference on those teams that are the mid-level teams, to my point. So
Yeah, you're right on with how the major teams are now, and that the commitment level isn't the same. And TJ makes a great comment in the chat. He says the schedule's pretty much always the same weekends every year, right? And the schedule comes out early enough in the year. Here you go. There's a comment on the screen. There you go, Jim.
I put it up there for you.
Look at us making this show better.
Yeah.
And the schedule comes out in plenty of advance. So it's interesting now what individuals are missing games for, if that makes sense. I think it's much different now.
Yeah.
Like Mike Trump said, we had a guy miss for a Cubs game. I feel like, when the era that you're talking about, Jimmy, the era you're talking about, that's cool. That would never happen because you had a game that night, right? You had a doubleheader that night. So it's,
Right.
And Robbie Grisano misses Hex games to play co-ed. So it's, it's much different now, truly.
I get it, but I think why they do it though is because there's no consequences.
Yeah.
Or back then, if you missed the game, you didn't play.
Yeah, right. True.
Right. Now they feel like, oh, you need me. So like if I miss, it's whatever. And with the commitment level that it is, a lot of times you do need them because you only got a handful of guys, so you're kind of handcuffed in that aspect,
Right.
There you go.
So, all right, Noach, this is the point of the show. We hand it over to you, my man. Do you have any questions for Uncle Jimmy and Cousin Donnie here?
Man, nah, I don't have any questions. Just thank you for having me. Appreciate you boys. Appreciate everything that you guys are doing. Obviously, you guys are killing it on the show every week. All the different guests. It's great to see different people and hear from different people that you wouldn't really, hear from, regularly.
Well, hey, man, we appreciate the comment. I know Donnie, he's all giddy right now because he just realized he could put comments on the screen.
I learned something. New.
Noach, we definitely appreciate your time. Obviously, good luck this weekend. And we're going to get to setting the lines on the game this weekend and go through a little bit of a recap pre-show of this weekend's tournament. So definitely appreciate it. And we will see you this weekend, Noach. Thank you.
For sure. Appreciate you, boys.
Noach.
Have a good one, boys.
Good to see you, man. Appreciate you.
All right, Donnie.
Good.
So that was awesome with Noach. He's very entertaining. Definitely someone that I think is, pretty. Oops, hit the wrong button. So, Noach is a pretty funny guy, and he's got a lot of good major stories, A stories, people that he played with. Some individuals who have, we've lost in the past as well, which is great to hear those stories. What did you think of him?
Fantastic. He's been around a lot longer than a lot of guys may know or have understood. He gets a lot of fans in the chat going. People love Noach. He's such a cool and kind of calm, collective, and very respectful guy. I love the comments for him and love seeing Bruce in the chat. That was great too. So Unbelievable stuff from him. I have my laptop that I had open with all the games died during the middle of that. Was that sucks. But
Awesome.
hopefully you have the games in front of you. I would hope.
I will go ahead and I will pull those up because
Perfect.
I always have the backup plan, right?
It unfortunately died. I was monitoring the comments and chatting a little bit during the show, and it unfortunately died.
I have the games right here. No worries. So we're gonna start at the top. We have 45s versus Whale.
Okay.
Opening round. Winner plays Ferals. Obviously 35s are the clear favorite here, but our man Jackson Perry and the Whale Boys, they could stay in the ball game, right?
They have a good team.
I think, and this may sound crazy, but I told you, remember, I have some crazy things, right?
Yeah.
If Whale hits first in the game and scores 3 or more runs in the first inning, okay, I think they can upset 45s.
Wow.
But if they don't, 45s win by slaughter roll.
That's way different. Okay. All right. There you go.
So I'm going to set the line at 7.5.
Okay.
For 45s.
Pat Clark wants whale. He gives us the whale emojis in the chat. This is a great little tool. I'm going to start putting comments on the screen. This is awesome.
Yep. So the next game, we have Meatball City versus Signature.
Okay.
I've got Signature at a 3.5 favorite here. Okay. Obviously, well, hopefully you're on the hill and not our boy Q, right? So, all right.
Either way.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I like Q. I'm just want to throw a shout out to him. I got you guys at 3.5 here. Winner plays Players Inc. I think the winner of this game goes on to play the 45s in that third game, and it's going to be Meatball City or you guys playing the 45s Saturday at 4:30.
Okay.
All right. March and Traffic. Winner plays BTA. I've got March here -5.5. I think March is a team that is on the rise. They've had some big wins already in tournaments, knocking out Circus in the North-South. They had some big wins in the Westchester tournament. They've added some speed, obviously, picking up 4 of our guys. They've beat you guys this year.
They did.
They've had some big wins, and I think they're a team that's going to go out there, kind of slap around Traffic a little bit, who's a younger squad with speed, and I think, March is just going to be too much to handle for Traffic. They will play BTA. In that game against BTA, I'm going to have BTA at probably -3. I know March beat them, I believe, early in the year.
They're 3-0 against BTA this year. I was talking to Zach Solorio, who plays for March earlier today, and he said we're 3-0 against those guys. So if we fall into those guys, we can beat them.
BTA, though, I think BTA is going to have their full squad out this weekend. From what I've heard, what I was talking with some of those guys about, BTA played very well in this tournament last year, right? I think did they win it last year, or they took second in this tournament? I know they were right there.
They took second.
They took second.
Actually, you're right. They either took second. They played 45s in the championship. I remember that.
Right. I think they won it. Actually.
I think they won it. I'm pretty sure they won it.
So this is a weekend BTA always plays well. I think they won it because they were able to 5 seed. So
you're right.
I think they will be a tough out this weekend. They're going to have a little revenge against March. I'm going to put BTA at 2.5.
Okay. Yeah, BTA won. Thank you guys in the chat for that was those games were on the stream too. I remember that.
Yeah. Yep. So we got 10 deep and High Y. 10 deep's just a young team. I think they're very capable of winning the game, but I got to go High Y, and I got to go High Y at least -6 here, 6.5. That line's going to fall on there. Obviously, it depends on who High Y has out there. They've been missing guys here and there throughout the year. Obviously, they had a great run at North-South. I think they're coming off of some momentum. I got to think High Y probably blows them out, wins by slaughter rule 5 innings, but I got to put that line 6, 6.5, 7, somewhere in there. It's going to fall.
Okay.
The winner of that plays Chicago Dynasty. So if High Y wins, I'm going to throw a line out there against Chicago Dynasty. I think high Y would be a -3 against Chicago Dynasty. That game would be right after. Once again, Dynasty's another team. You just don't know who they're going to have. So it's hard to put a line on a team like that just because certain guys show up, certain guys don't. They've had their ups, their downs. They had a nice win over us. They beat us 5-3 a couple weeks ago. And then I saw them last night get slaughtered by Flash. So I don't know who they're going to have, but I got to give High Y the little bit of an edge here at -3.
Good.
Goodwood plays Flash. I'm going to say Flash, depending on, I think they're going to have full. I don't really, in my opinion, it doesn't matter who they have. I think it's going to be Flash -7.5, at least, possibly 8.5. If they have their full team, I might have to throw a 9.5, 10.5 out there because I think they're going to come out hitting. They're not going to come out flat. A lot of their guys are just getting back in the swing of things. I think Iggy just got engaged. Congratulations.
He did. Big congrats to Joe Iggy.
So that being said, I think that game will be a 5 or 6 inning game. But hey, you don't know. Goodwood's coming off a nice weekend too, right?
They did. They had a nice north-south. They made it all the way to deep into Sunday. So Good on those guys. They've got a nice young team. Flash is Flash at tournaments. That's a tough team to beat. So It's not downplaying the level of skill that Goodwood has, and it's just the level of team that you're playing against.
So Flash would play in the Demons, and I would throw the same thing out there. The Flash is going to be an 8.5, probably favorite.
Yeah, Flash handled Demons earlier in this year too at Forest Park. I think they beat them in 5. So that's a team. That's a tough team in tournaments.
Yep. So Chuck's money line. This is an interesting battle. Money line's been a hot tournament team.
Yep.
I haven't really seen much of them in league play. They only play one league. I think they've only played like 7 games in the league or whatever. They're really a tournament team. And Moneyline has come out to a top 4 finish at the Westchester event. I think they took 3rd, correct?
They did.
At North-South, I believe they took 4th. Am I right on that?
They took 5th. They lost to Flash before we played Flash.
Okay, so they took 5th. So they got 2 top 5 finishes. They're playing a Chuck's team, obviously, that has been on the road.
Yeah.
This is like their 4th tournament weekend in a row. They played their Marshalltown, which I know a lot of those guys got to travel there, even though they're from Iowa. Then they came to the North-South. Then they went to Carroll, Iowa, and now they're coming here again. So I think there's going to be some tired legs. And, obviously they've had some injuries.
Definitely.
I got to give Moneyline the edge here. And not only that, but Jake obviously showed us tonight on the show. So I'm going to say Moneyline -20 in hook. And they blow out Chuck's by 20.
-20. I love it. Hey.
So the true line, and I'm going to put Moneyline at about -3.5, 3, somewhere in there.
-20 is insane.
Yeah, that's for my boy Drew.
Great.
So if Moneyline does win and they're the favorite, -3, as I said, the Fat Kids, obviously Noach was just on the show. I think Moneyline in that game is going to be a 5.5, 6-run favorite. Okay, all day. Obviously wind blowing in, wind blowing out can adjust things. Obviously, can go up, can go down. But as we look at the games today, not knowing that, I got to give Moneyline at least a 5.5 points.
Moneyline's tough, man. If they got the full team out there, their roster is so darn good. They can play with anybody. So
problem is you're not backing these down.
Oh shit! It's all right. I'll check. I'll go back. I got you.
We'll go after. Yeah. All right. So shooters and impact. I've got shooters -1.5. Impact can hit though, as we know. They play. They came out swinging, and the winner of that game plays primetime. I've got primetime and shooters in that one, and I've got shooters against primetime at least a -4, 4.5 favorite.
Yeah, primetime and a team that hadn't played a tournament yet this year. I don't think they got TOC, if I'm not mistaken. They They didn't play North-South, but just a bunch of young guys from my area. So it'll be good to see those guys out there, just to try to get some exposure for the primetime team, and we love that. So hopefully they come out with the fire, and they just got to have their full team primetime. They have some good athletes on that team, some kids that played baseball, the U of I organization. They've got some good athletes. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out and play.
Shooters -4, -4.5. So just note that. Iron versus Circus. To me, this is an interesting one. I don't know who Iron's going to have. I've heard that they're going to be short. I heard they're going to have their full team. So I don't know what story's true. I don't know. But I'm going to say if Iron's going to have their full team and Circus has their full team, is how I'm going to set the line. If they're both fully, I'm going to say Circus is probably about a 5.5 run, 6 run favorite in this game. Doesn't mean Iron can't beat them. Okay. Yeah. I think Iron could possibly be a team that could, make a run and upset Circus and even us if, they have their full squad. So that's where I'm going to leave it right now at this point. I know Circus has been, playing one league in Forest Park. They're up and down. They obviously have a tremendous team, one of the best teams on paper. That's not even a question. We understand that. So if Circus holds par, they're going to play Hacks, which I can't be biased and I can't put a line on that game. So I'm going to let Timmy put a line on that game. He says I'm the biggest Circus. I am not the biggest Circus hair. I actually give him credits all the time. So that being said, why do you keep putting that on the screen?
That's great. That's the comment of the night from Mr. Timmy K.
Yeah, I know. So I'm going to say Circus and Iron, like I said, it's about a 6.5, 6 to 7. Circus is going to be right around there.
Okay. Timmy, put in the chat, what's the line if Circus is to get through Iron? What's the line with Circus and Hex?
Circus -20.
I wonder what he's going to put.
But so that's where we stand, Donnie. So you can go back, watch the tape, write the lines down, write the numbers.
I'll write them down.
Let's see where we're at. Does you hear this guy?
I have to give credit really quick. We played a game in Western Springs on Tuesday, and JD was our umpire.
Really?
And he called a fantastic game. He argues with the umps a lot, I think, when he's out there. But man, he did a hell of a job running out, making calls, and he had a good strike zone. So I appreciate him seeing out there and umpiring in Western Springs.
Why are dropping out?
Who's that? Who is he talking about?
I don't know who he's talking about, but he put a line out there: Circus -6.5 against Hex. So, there's the line for that game.
Mike Trump did that. Timmy said we are dropping out.
Who knows, right? So
yeah, for sure.
You don't know what's true or what's not, right?
Not with Timmy. You have no idea.
He is one of the characters for sure. So that is the tournament rundown. I am excited for this weekend. I think it'll be a packed, fun, full weekend. I'm sure we'll be out there. I know this is the SSA event, right? So I'm not sure if we have time, depending on how the schedules go, if we were going to be even able to live stream or do interviews or anything. I know the last couple tournaments, while I was playing in the one, you were playing in the other, we really didn't have much time. So
I know.
Thank God for Gio to get out there and live stream. So, but either way, I think could be a win-win. I'll have the stuff in the car ready to go,
-140. Jimmy, I am excited as well for this weekend. And, we're going to play with who we got out there. And hopefully, I know Meatball's going to come and they're going to give us a game. I know that for sure. I mean, I talk to Joel every damn day of my life, and he tells me how hungry they are to beat us. So I'm excited. I want a good game, and I think truly there's some opportunities for some teams to make a run and win this weekend that you won't expect. So I look forward to it, and I look forward to seeing you guys out there this weekend. So we also have a women's tournament, Bucks for Burns fundraiser. That's cool, Christine. Good to see you.
There is a Bucks for Burn fundraiser. I have not had anyone reach out to me about that. So I did reach out for the Papa Hops. So I'm hopefully trying to get Liam on to talk about
Oh yeah, for
the
sure.
history behind Papa Hops. You know, it's an incredible tournament that's coming up. Before you know it, it'll be
Awesome.
here the
Yeah.
holiday. We're about 3 weeks away on that, which is awesome. Christine, thank you so much. Yeah, we have to maybe Christine, if you could send us the women's tournament side of things, so that way we know when the women's tournaments are.
Yeah.
Right. I know that they have the Why Me, which is the same day as the Dana Strong, which I do want to mention, by the way. We are selling Dana Strong raffle tickets at $50 a ticket for the family. So those individuals out there wanting to purchase a ticket, we're only selling, I believe, 400 tickets. And, you know, we're going to raffle off, I believe, close to $10,000 in cash. And we're going to raise 10,000 just on the raffle tickets this year for the family of the Lococo. So hopefully we can get those sold out, and hopefully we can get through those. I just picked my tickets up as of a couple weeks ago, so I do have a bunch. So if anyone wants to reach out to me, I'd be more than happy to figure out a way to write your name down and collect the money from you for the future event. Huge shout out to our man Steph McLennan from Flash.
Oh, nice.
Donated $750 to the Dana
Oh,
Strong
wow.
Fund. So awesome thing from Steph. I believe he also runs a co-ed tournament fundraiser in Schaumburg. I'm not sure when it is. I think it is the same day as the Melrose tournament. So I am definitely going to give my donation to Steph and that tournament as well. I think it's an awesome thing of what he's trying to do up on the north side in Schaumburg. More details to come on that as well. So
Very cool.
thank you so much. Please send me and Donnie a text message, and we will definitely share more about the women's side of things, you know, as we know. So
Yes, sir.
we had her on. And one other thing. How about one of our guests throwing out the first pitch at a Cubs game the other day?
Yep, and singing the national anthem.
The Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
That one, not national anthem.
Right.
Much
So
different.
she threw out the first pitch, and then she sang the seventh inning stretch,
Seventh
Take Me
inning
Out to
stretch,
the Ball
that's
Game
it.
at Wrigley Field, and that's Abby Ramirez. So awesome thing for Abby. That's a
Very
pretty
cool.
cool thing. And she was a guest on our show.
That's how she got famous.
Yeah. She actually used your name. Hey, I know cousin Donnie, and boom, right in.
Right.
So.
Well, Jimmy, I appreciate everything from tonight, man, and Oach was great, and we will see you guys out there this weekend, and hopefully everyone enjoyed the show today. Appreciate you guys for chiming in. Tommy Reamer, Beacon Tap, appreciate you as well, and if there's anything else you guys need to reach out, we'd love to have you on our show, and we'll talk to you guys very soon.
Yes, for sure. And I just want to say one more thing, Donnie. You know, we sometimes just go live stream on games. The only reason why our page does that is for my son.
Yeah.
So it's not that Donnie or I are live streaming. It's really just kind of on a tripod, or yesterday was a disaster. People didn't know what they were doing as I was on the field. So but we went live on my page for my son Jackson, who wants to watch when we're not live streaming. He can't make the field. So
I love that.
I got a lot of text messages about that today.
We were watching it, we were playing, and the screen was just black.
I mean,
It's all right.
hold the phone, and I forgot the tripod, so it'd been a lot easier, like I did in Iowa with the tripod, right? So,
Yeah.
but either way, the tripod's in my car moving forward, and we have no worries. So, Don, you enjoy the night. I will see you. Are you going to be out there tomorrow?
I'll be out there tomorrow. We play at 6:30, and then if we win, we play 7:30. So I'll be out there.
Okay, we play at 9:30, so I'll see you there.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Later.